In this video, we will be working on Epic Props Green Goblin base. We will focus on rendering building concrete, a weathered electrical box, a red brick pattern. So sit back, relax, and
let's go crazy!
welcome everyone. We'll be working on Epic Props Patreon's Green Goblin the base. I printed this photograph. We'll be using it as a loose reference color guide. I do a little bit of extra masking here. I mask off the area I don't want overspray to go over. I don't want it to affect the next base coat that we'll be doing. So for the first base coat, we'll be doing the concrete building portion. It's a little bit of extra work, but it's all good. Good practice. I picked up this new Picasso airbrush. Comes with 3 needles. I'm using the largest needle. I'll be using it as my primary base coat airbrush. I'll be using Freak Flex Bleached Bone Tan. It's a really good airbrush. I really liked it a lot. It's just another tool added to the bench. And I'm using this heating dry booth. It's really helps out with the workflow. It's layer 2. Here we are doing a wash. We're going to be doing a lot of layers throughout this process. Now here we are dry brushing rack white. We're going to slowly build up this concrete look. And then we're going to go back and do another wash, the same, the contrast. A little bit of back and forth. And back to the dry brush. The more you go back and forth, everything just starts to really blend into each other. And then I'll give it a wash with Null oil. This is the thinned down that I made. Now we're going to go to some tube paint and do some light dry brushing. Try to bring out the finer details. And now we're going on to the rubble area. I'm going to just give it a basic base coat of gray. And here I started to do a wash, but the detail is just not enough in the sculpt here that the wash or any dry brushing afterwards would be effective. I decided to just stop at this step here and add some texture to this area using some technical paints. Here we're using a Citadel texture paint. We're going to add our own texture over top of the existing texture. And then we're going to use some VMS diorama texture, which is these really little tiny pebbles. And we're just going to sprinkle them around. And the step before this is still wet, so this will help with them sticking onto it. Plus, I will be clear coating over top of this. Throughout all of these different steps, I do clear coat with Tester's dull coat. And now we'll give it a wash. So now there's a lot more textures here to work with, and when it comes to the dry brushing, it'll really make a difference. Give it another wash. Like I said, back and forth, back and forth. Just slowly bring stuff out. It's a really good practice. You basically want someone to look at your piece and not really know how you achieved the patterns, the look, the colors, because you went back and forth so many times that everything just completely blends really well. Here I'm going to bring out my God Hand Dry Brush EXF. It's a really fine dry brush. It's really good. If you don't have any God Hand brushes, you should look into them. They are excellent brushes. Just pick out the little details with this brush. Really good. I have a lot of these different types of God Hand brushes. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video showing all the different God Hand brushes I have. And now for the red bricks. So I made my own mixes of 3 different shades from orange to red, and we're going to do like a three color brick pattern. Now unfortunately, when you make a mix, I used a lot of airbrush paints when I made that mix, so I did have to do multiple coats to get the color solid, but it's better than working with paint that is too thick. And here we go. So there's quite the variation here. So now I will dry brush and bring all 3 colors closer together. So using 2 paint, we will do that. If you don't have a set of 2 paints, you should look into it. 2 paints are really good for dry brushing because they are thick. And then we're going to add a little bit of white and dry brush one more time. And now here we are going to do a transparent wash over top, and I thinned this out, but I didn't thin it enough, and and it's really bringing all the colors to almost look like one color. In the video it looks like one color. In person you can still see some variation. And now we're going to do some spot washes into some areas. And in between the different colors, we'll do washes. And this will help bring everything together, blend it all in, make it look natural. And then we will be using some white spirits to clean up. Tamiya panel liner, it's enamel, so you do need a white spirit to blend it out so it doesn't look like a stain. And it works really well. And now onto the window. I did not have transparent resin when I printed this piece, so I'm going to have to get creative and do my own thing here. So we're going to go ahead and base coat it in black, and then we're going to use some AK chrome over top and work with that. This chrome sprays really well. Probably the best chrome I've used. That's just out of the bottle. And now we're going to use some Tamiya clear smoke, thinned it down, and we're going to get it all around the edges just to add some depth, some shadow, makes it look weathered. And now on to painting the frame. I'm just gonna give it like a wood look. I'm thinking this building is like an industrial area. Could be like a warehouse. And onto some dry brushing and make it look weathered. And there we have it. Now onto the electrical box. For this electrical box, I had some leftover paint, this rattle can. I used this on my Sega NewNet City arcade cabinet to restore a few of the parts inside.
Let's go crazy!
gave it that classic green. Now these areas here are textured, kind of like a rust, so I wanted to bring that texture out a little bit more. So I'm using some Tamiya metallic paint. Their metallic paints are quite thick, and the one that I have is, I've had it for a while, so I think it's extra thick. So it was good. It's a good thing to use. And here now we are using some VMS chip and nick. I got two colors here. I got a brown, so we'll do that first. It's like a dark rust, dirt. And then we'll go over top with a lighter color for rust. Now this stuff here is really good, so you put it down and then using water, you just brush it off and it'll slowly break apart naturally. In the cleanup stage, and there it is after cleanup. And now we'll be using some weathering pencils from AK. Chose 3 colors, so 2 for the rust and 1 for dirt and grime. Put down the color, then use water to blend it out. And here it is after we're done. And for the meter, I'm using some UV resin. Just gonna put it over top, cure it, do a few layers at a time. And now on to the Green Goblin's glider. Some quick putty work. Base coated in silver. Now I have also this other extra can here. It's a hammered silver to add some texture. And now to tone down the texture, we're just going to give it a quick wet sand. A light dry brushing. And then we're going to use some pan pastels to add some shading. And then we're going to do the panel lines using some acrylic ink. And here is the flame on the back. And now time for the turnaround. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in part 2.